1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. President Ranil Wickremesinghe and Meta's Sir Nick Clegg discuss AI cooperation. Sri Lanka and Nepal explore dynamic political, trade and business partnership. President Wickremesinghe met the USAID Administrator Samantha Power. The National Building Research Organisation has issued early landslide warnings for parts of 5 districts. Sri Lanka customs officers have impounded a stock of Kush cannabis smuggled into the country. In foreign news, Azerbaijan launches operation against Nagorno-Karabakh and demands surrender. News in detail. Delivering the SDG Summit 2023, President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that the G20 summit reiterated that developing countries require financing up to $5.9 trillion by 2030 to fulfill their national determined contributions. Further, $4 trillion per year is required to clean energy technologies to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has met with Sir Nick Clegg, former UK Deputy Prime Minister and current President for Global Affairs at Meta, on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. During their discussions, President Wickremesinghe highlighted the government's new initiatives to combat online hate speech and the spread of fake news, the President's media division said. He emphasized that the proposed bill would allow concerned parties to challenge specific aspects through the Supreme Court, and further revisions could be considered during the Parliamentary Committee review. The President was briefed on Facebook owner Meta's advancements in artificial intelligence with a particular emphasis on open source technologies. Both parties explored potential collaborations between the Sri Lankan government and Meta in the field of artificial intelligence AI. One of the proposals discussed was the development of a collaborative program between Meta and Sri Lankan universities aimed at advancing AI technology. Meanwhile, President Ranil Wickremesinghe met with Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal of Nepal yesterday in New York on the sidelines of the 78th United Nations General Assembly. During the meeting, the Sri Lankan leader stated that the island nation is keen on expanding its long-standing relationship with Nepal into a dynamic political, trade and business partnership by diversifying the areas of cooperation, according to the President's media division. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The United States Agency for International Development will continue to support Sri Lanka's recovery efforts, the USAID Administrator Samantha Power has assured the Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe. President Wickremesinghe met the USAID Administrator Samantha Power on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly in New York yesterday and held discussions. During the meeting, President Wickremesinghe expressed his appreciation for the support extended by USAID to Sri Lanka during the financial crisis. The President presented a short briefing on the progress with the IMF program while highlighting the government's commitment to its successful conclusion. The efforts made by Sri Lankan government in improving the efficiency and effectiveness of the welfare programs through the introduction of the Aswasuma initiative were illustrated during the meeting. Power stated that USAID would continue to support Sri Lanka's recovery efforts while also making available necessary expertise. As torrential rainfall continues, the National Building Research Organisation has issued early landslide warnings for parts of 5 districts. Accordingly, advisory is in place for several areas in the Galle, Kaluthra, Kegalle, Matra and Ratnapura districts until 10:30 p.m. today. People living in the following areas are advised to be vigilant about the development of cracks in the ground, deepened cracks and ground subsidence, slanting of trees, electrical posts, fences and telephone posts, cracks on the floors and walls of buildings which are built at slopes, and sudden appearance of springs, emerging muddy water, blockage or disappearance of existing springs. And that ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Veda Mahatmya.
Sri Lanka customs officers have impounded a stock of Kush cannabis smuggled into the country. The parcel contained 1 kilogram and 98 grams of Kush cannabis with an estimated value of 16.47 million rupees. The parcel had been shipped from Belgium in a container addressed to a location in Vennapur. The contraband will be handed over to the Police Narcotics Bureau for onward investigations. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Vedamahatmya.
On to Watchlight this afternoon. The residents in Alpetiya complained that Panvilahena Road belonging to the Alpetiya Pradesh Sabha is at a dilapidated condition. The road has not been renovated for 50 years. This situation has obstructed the transportation activities in the area. Although the authorities have been informed about this, no solution has been provided. This is for the attention to the chairman of the Alpetiya Pradesh Sabha, and that came to you in Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
It's the power to live life your way. The power to be a trendsetter. Power to you with digital banking from Commercial Bank. Commercial Bank. Our interest is in you.
World News headlines. Azerbaijan launches operation against Nagorno-Karabakh and demands surrender. China's seafood imports from Japan down by 67% in August. And Russian evil cannot be trusted, Zelensky tells the UN. Azerbaijan said its military measures in Nagorno-Karabakh are continuing for a second day after its launch what it describes as anti-terror operations in the area yesterday. It said it will not stop until ethnic Armenian separatists surrender. Tensions in the South Caucasus have been high for months around the breakaway enclave recognized internationally as parts of Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan and Armenia last went to war 3 years ago. In a statement this morning, Azerbaijan's defense ministry said military equipment belonging to Armenian armed forces had been neutralized, vehicles, artillery, and anti-aircraft missile installations. China's import of seafood from Japan slumped last month as Tokyo started to release treated wastewater from the damaged Fukushima nuclear power plant, and imports of Japanese seafood fell by 67.6% in August from the same month last year. China's customs authority said. Japan's Ministry of Agriculture said Fisheries says China was the world's top importer of the country's seafood. Last year, Asia's largest economy imported 84.4 billion yen seafood from its neighbor. Evil cannot be trusted, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has told the UN General Assembly as he urged the world to unite to end Russian aggression against his country. In a passionate speech in New York, Mr. Zelensky said nuclear-armed Moscow must be stopped from pushing the world to the final war. He also accused Russia of weaponizing everything from food to energy. Russia's full-scale invasion has prompted widespread condemnation. Back to the headlines of the World News. Azerbaijan launches operation against Nagorno-Karabakh and demands surrender. China's seafood imports from Japan down by 67% in August. Russian evil cannot be trusted, Zelensky tells the UN. And that ends World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
This message is for all the kids between the ages of 4 and 16 who love to draw. Commercial Bank's Arunalu Sittam is back once again. This time, the competition is also open to Sri Lankan kids currently living abroad. First, second and third place prizes will be awarded along with special merit and merit certificates. For more information, visit the Commercial Bank website. We have so many prizes to be won.
Development News.
The construction of the Handagiriya Bridge of Udavalava in the Ratnapura district has already commenced. The construction work is being carried out under the loan assistance of the Netherlands. 180 million rupees will be spent on this project. And that is development news. Now on to sports. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Athletic Association, Major General Palitha Fernando, says that the target is to win 5 medals at the Asian Athletic Meet. Currently, the athletes are participating in the training sessions. He also said that the other athletes will leave for China during the next few days. The Sri Lankan athletes have shown their talent at the international athletic events in the past. Therefore, he believes that they will achieve victory for the motherland this year as well. It is a great loss that sprinter Yupun Abekon will not participate at this meet due to an injury. The athletic meet will begin in Hangzhou in China on the 23rd of this month. And that was sports news.
Go ekak tiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
John Kills Properties has established their first housing complex in Jaila. It has been named as a Wiman. The houses will be constructed with the use of modern technologies and it comprises of 418 houses with all facilities. And that was Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak tiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news. Lanka Satusa has reduced the prices of several essential food items. Accordingly, a kilo of soya meat has been reduced by 45 rupees, a kilo of potatoes by 40 rupees, a kilo of sprats by 30 rupees, while a kilo of big onions will be sold at 195 rupees. And that was economic news.
Weather report.
The Meteorology Department forecasts showers will occur at times in the western and Sabaragamu provinces and in the Galle and Matra districts, while fairly heavy showers above 50 millimeters can be expected at some places. Several special showers may occur in the northwestern province and in Kandy, Nuwara and Hambantota districts. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the Uva and eastern provinces during the evening or night. And that was the weather report. Prior to concluding this news broadcast, the headlines once again. President Ranil Wickremesinghe and Meta's Sir Nick Clegg discuss AI cooperation. Sri Lanka and Nepal explore dynamic political, trade and business partnership. President Wickremesinghe met the USAID Administrator Samantha Powell. The National Building Research Organization has issued early landslide warnings for parts of 5 districts. Sri Lanka customs officers have impounded a stock of Kush cannabis smuggled into the country. In foreign news, Azerbaijan launches operation against Nagorno-Karabakh and demands surrender. And with that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And it's back to Satya on the other side to keep you company this Wednesday afternoon. Over to you, Satya.